Welcome back, everyone. If you guys are interested in a follow-up video to the 142 grain Sierra Match King loaded with H4350 by Hodgden, stick around. Well guys, welcome back to the channel. I certainly don't make a point of usually going back and rehashing old information, but this was a special case. As you've heard me talk in the past couple videos about Sierra actually releasing 6.5 Creedmoor data, I thought that I would actually go back and see what I'd done on this projectile and see what more could actually be done. I'll put a link up in the corner to the old video. I'll try and keep this one short. If you guys want to go back and watch that one, it certainly wouldn't hurt. If the quality is not exactly what you'd hoped it would be, then I guess you stick with this one, and I'll try and cover most what was covered in that one along with a little bit of an update. When I went back and watched that video, I noticed there was a couple different things. Some of the information I didn't give wasn't as complete as I've been trying to give out, as far as it didn't have extreme spread data, things like that. And so I thought with this one, I would try and give you a quick update that had everything else on it. In that video, I went from 39.5 grains to 41.5 at a cartridge overall length of 2.780. Like I said, the series actually released 6.5 Creedmoor data. Now with H4350, they actually do only release data with H4350 out to 2,700 feet per second, but actually have data for several more powders all the way up to 2,800 feet per second, which is certainly a much more exciting velocity for this powder. But H4350 being made of ground unicorns as it is, and it's such a temperature insensitive powder, it certainly isn't a bad option even if it is a little bit slower. A couple other things of note. The data that I loaded before came from Hodgden's website with an actual cartridge overall length of 2.780, and Sierra's actual data is a cartridge overall length of 2.810. So when I measured the two lands distance for this projectile on my rifle, 2.868 would have been to the lands. We are still not quite, but almost 60 thousandths off the lands. Honestly, a lot's kind of happened on the channel since that. I'm going to do 5 shots following up on a good load. I've got 5 pieces of brass from some factory that I've shot, and I thought I'd load this just a little bit hotter than I did the last time, especially since I had new data, which absolutely positively justifies. I hadn't seen any pressure signs before, and this is just another half a grain hotter, slightly different overall length. A couple things I wanted to follow up from the old video as well before we get straight into the data. When I made the last video, I actually pulled the ballistic coefficient for this projectile off of Midway's website, and as all the bullet manufacturers seem to do anymore these days, they've been updating the BC. And so I incorrectly stated the ballistic coefficient in the last video, so I will update you straight off Sierra's website as of today. The G1 ballistic coefficient at 2850, which we are not going to hit in today's video, I'll break your hearts right there, guys, would actually have been 0.626. But in the range we're going to at least start off in the velocity is 0.611. Still not the best ballistic coefficient out there, but certainly not bad. The burgers that you guys are shooting, the 140 grain projectiles, are only 0.607. I certainly don't think you guys should be scoffing at the Sierras. When I made this initial video, Sierra certainly put up a good fight as far as groups were concerned, and the data is certainly not bad. Let's get into that data if we can. I'll rehash this as quick as I can, kind of in the new format. Sierra Match King, part number 1742, 142 grain, hollow point boat tail. Starting off at 39.5 grains, estimated velocity off Hodgen's website was 2604, actual velocity was 2547, standard deviation of 15, extreme spread of 40, and the group size was 0.528. The 40 grain load was estimated velocity of 2626, actual velocity was actually 2556, standard deviation of only 9, extreme spread of 22, group size of 0.1040 with obviously one flyer there. The 40.5 grain load, estimated velocity of 2648, actual velocity of 2597, standard deviation of 10.6, extreme spread of 29, but a group size of a beautiful 0.514 MOA. At 41 grains, 2671 was our expectation, however we only got to 2635. Nice standard deviation at 7.3, extreme spread of only 19, group size of 0.786 MOA. Now at 41.5 grains, the estimated velocity was 2594. Actual velocity achieved was only 2651, standard deviation of 11.5, extreme spread of 28, and group size of 0.802. Now we're going to switch to, this is where it was different. The initial loads were actually worked up with Fed 210 primers because that's exactly the only thing that I had at the time. I thought, since I did the primer video and I bought a couple different ones, as you can see on the table, I had loaded these with BR2s. went all out for this load. Now, if you remember from the primer video, we really didn't see a distinct velocity variance from the Fed 210s versus the BR2s. I really think that this is comparable data. Really shouldn't have been a gigantic difference between the two primers. However, again, with the load data that coming from Sierra this time, the estimated velocity at 42 grains was only 2706, so not much hotter than 2694 that Hodgden said. But again, guys, a longer overall length. But the actual velocity on 42 grains was 2693. Our standard deviation was down to 8. Extreme spread of only 20. And this was the last group that I shot of the day when I was shooting the last time, 0.756 MOA. So Sierra's, as usual, put up a very respectable group size at the velocity range that we tested. Getting into that data again, guys, as of the making this video, I still checked and it's still posted there on Sierra's website. I don't know how long it will be, but I recommend downloading it if you're interested at all. There are 4 actual powders that they have listed with data all the way up to 2000 feet per second, guys. So you might guess we might have one of those show up on the channel somewhere down the road. This projectile did shoot exceptionally well, and getting such a heavy projectile all the way up to 2000 feet per second really would be a interesting feat, especially with the group sizes we've been able to achieve with this projectile. So guys, I hope not to bore you to death. I thought this might be an interesting video. Initially, guys, when I kind of started the channel, this was one of the lower viewed videos, and so I thought I'd rehash it, put in a little bit better format. Hopefully it's a little bit cleaner than the last one, a little bit better audio, at least I certainly am trying for that. New data, new primer, a little bit more refined reloading process, and this is what we got. I'll throw the quickest shot ever of the primers on the screen. Nothing very exciting. I will say, if you look at the one primer, it does look like there's just the tiniest bit of primer cratering on that one. So who knows, guys, maybe this 2700 feet per second load for this one is close to max pressure for it. I certainly haven't seen that primer cratering on any of the other loads, but again, I really haven't shot a whole lot of these BR2s, so maybe that is just a little bit of a softer primer cup, and that didn't really repeat on any of the other shots. I guess time will only tell, especially if we load this again, but to be honest, since I've had such luck with the Reloader 17, and I do have some more stuff upcoming on the channel, which might be right in line with getting this thing really cruising to a neat velocity. So thank you guys for sticking around. If you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Like the video if you liked the video. Turn on those notifications if you haven't already. Make sure you guys know when I post a new video. Guys, if you got us comments, do you not want to see the rehash list? Did you not want to see the update? Put that down in the comments. Maybe I won't bother doing these anymore. If you guys like to see new data for old loads, put that down in the comments below. Maybe I'll make this a update. We'll reload some of the stuff we've tried previously and see what happens. Somewhere in the future, I do plan on refining some of the best loads that I've had out of all the tests. Certainly in my future plans here are to take those out to distance and see out of all the match loads that I've put together what actually performs out at distance. Tell me what your thoughts are down in the comments section. Thank you guys for sticking around to the end of the video. Thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you guys to the old ones for sticking around. Until next week, guys, stay safe in small groups.